Nice to have you here. In this video, you're about to guess the country flag. We'll show you a flag, and you'll have just a few seconds to guess it before the answer is revealed. Let's get started.
Paraguay. Moving on to the next flag. Eritrea. Get ready, here comes another flag. New Zealand. Watch closely, the next flag is coming. Greece. Let's check out the next one. Vietnam. Can you identify this flag? Gabon. Get ready, here comes another flag. Barbados. Watch closely, the next flag is coming. Thailand. Let's check out the next one. Afghanistan. Watch closely, the next flag is coming. Zimbabwe. Get ready for another. United Arab Emirates. Here comes the next one. South Korea. Let's check out the next one. Tajikistan. Get ready, here comes another flag. Kenya. Get ready for another. Chad. Here comes the next flag. Sao Tome and Principe. Get ready for another. Uzbekistan. Here comes the next flag. Fiji. Get ready for another. Switzerland. Let's check out the next one. Vatican City. Watch closely, the next flag is coming. Andorra. Get ready for another. Iraq. Moving on to the next flag. Mexico. Moving on to the next flag. Grenada. Here comes the next flag. Colombia. Let's check out the next one. Guyana. Here comes the next flag. North Macedonia. Moving on to the next flag. Turkish Republic of Northern Cyprus. Watch closely, the next flag is coming. Pakistan. Ready for the next challenge? Mauritius. Ready for the next challenge? Mongolia. Here comes the next one. Kiribati. Here comes the next one. Comoros. Get ready for another. Kazakhstan. Let's check out the next one. Benin. Here comes the next one. Oman. Here comes the next one. Kosovo. Let's continue our journey. Togo. Here comes the next one. Myanmar. Here comes the next one. Kuwait. Here comes the next flag. Brazil. Can you identify this flag? Cape Verde. Get ready for another. Nigeria. Can you identify this flag? Brunei. Get ready for another. Jamaica. Watch closely, the next flag is coming. Republic of Congo. Get ready, here comes another flag. Ethiopia. Let's check out the next one. Liberia. Get ready for another. San Marino. Get ready, here comes another flag. Botswana. Here comes the next one. Seychelles. Get ready for another. Sudan. Here comes the next flag. Latvia. Let's continue our journey. St. Kitts and Nevis. Can you identify this flag? Malta. Ready for the next challenge? Panama. Here comes the next one. Ghana. Can you identify this flag? Russia. Can you identify this flag? Croatia. Here comes the next one. Venezuela. Here comes the next flag. Qatar. Let's check out the next one. Trinidad and Tobago. Here comes the next flag. Zambia. Can you identify this flag? Estonia. Moving on to the next flag. Cook Islands. Get ready for another. Austria. Moving on to the next flag. Djibouti. Moving on to the next flag. St. Lucia. Watch closely, next up. Côte d'Ivoire. Here comes the next one. Malawi. Here comes the next flag. Haiti. Watch closely, the next flag is coming. Poland. Here comes the next flag. Saudi Arabia. Can you identify this flag? Norway. Here comes the next one. Azerbaijan. Watch closely, the next flag is coming. Serbia. Let's check out the next one. Hungary. Ready for the next challenge? Lithuania. Let's check out the next one. North Korea. Get ready for another. Mauritania. Ready for the next challenge? El Salvador. Let's continue our journey. Bhutan. Ready for the next challenge? Albania. Here comes the next flag. Liechtenstein. Here comes the next one. Antigua and Barbuda. Here comes the next flag. Dominica. Moving on to the next flag. Wales. Moving on to the next flag. Philippines. Let's continue our journey. Finland. Here comes the next one. Yemen. Let's check out the next one. Somaliland. Here comes the next flag. Algeria. Ready for the next challenge? Jordan. Let's check out the next one. Tanzania. Get ready for another. Nicaragua. Watch closely, the next flag is coming. Czech Republic. Let's continue our journey. Romania. Ready for the next challenge? Slovakia. Watch closely, the next flag is coming. Guinea. Moving on to the next flag. Iceland. Ready for the next challenge? Moldova. Moving on to the next flag. Denmark.
I hope you enjoyed this video and that you learned and revised a lot along the way. Don't forget to subscribe for more fun and educational videos like this. See you in the next one.